Hello and welcome to Follow Everton. This is the match reaction for Arsenal 0, Everton 0. Um, and today to react to this match with me is my good friend Jan Dalf. And I believe we also have Basil live outside the Emirates Stadium joining us very, very shortly. But before we cross over to Basil, Jan, can I get your reaction, please, on Everton? I think it is that the 5th 0-0 draw of the season.
It feels like the millionth 0-0 draw this season because for me, I'll just encapsulate this just to prepare anyone who's watching, right? It wasn't a defensive tactical masterclass where we set up shop. It's simply that yes, there were elements there, but we didn't attack. There was nothing. There was zero. There was zero urgency, cohesive play. There was no football. Everything we did was as a response to our opposition. We went there to just appear on the pitch, except for some moments. I'm not dismissing the players, but it's just how the setup was played, and I'm fed up because I almost felt like, what's the point in watching this? Because there were times when I felt like, bleh.
Yeah, just before I come to that, it's the 1,
Great
2,
point,
3,
but depressing takeaway
4.
from like a fantastic point to walk away from the Emirates with, but not a good sign for our style of football.
Okay, a lot of draws this season. Another draw. Unfortunately, we're not scoring a goal, but it's another clean sheet. And I want to actually have a look at the stats in terms of clean sheets because since for August fixtures, which we were battered by Brighton, we crumbled against Spurs, and the crumbles against Bournemouth and Villa. We've defended resolutely. We haven't conceded that many goals. I'm just going to top these up now, and then I'm going to bring it into the Arsenal game. So only one conceded against Palace, one against Leicester, that's 2, one against Southampton, that's 3. Although we not counting that because that wasn't the Prem. So 2 in the league there. We conceded once against Fulham, that's 3. We didn't concede against Ipswich or Newcastle. Didn't concede against
It doesn't.
Brentford. Didn't
Okay,
concede
right,
against
right.
West Ham.
But the serious question, Ryan, is how many goals did we score? How abjectly poor were the opposition? And if if the opposition would have been on form or tell me the results of those games then.
7 clean sheets this season for Everton. But the problem, Jan, is I agree with you, and I want to play devil's advocate a little bit here. I think it was a great result. I think it was a wonderful point at Arsenal. We normally lose this match, so let's
Yes.
let's stay on planet Earth here.
I'm
It's
glad
a
it
great
wasn't at the
point.
end of the season when we're desperate for points, in a situation where we're desperate for points and we have to go away to the Emirates and probably the last game of the season, yeah, how
We
often does
got
that
a
happen?
point, Jan.
We
The
did.
problem, the problem I have, I agree with you. A lot of clean sheets, and you can throw the negative spin on this and say, well, we just made up the numbers. We did. We didn't have any impact on the game. We didn't create anything. We couldn't keep the ball for more than 2 minutes. We kept chucking it back to them. I agree. You can throw that negative slant on it. You can also throw a positive slant on this and say, we've just drawn against Arsenal, who are going in the top 4, going for the title. They're a Champions League team
Yeah,
at home.
like, how can you play devil's advocate when I'm trying to play everyone's advocate? We're all in agreement for a change, I think, and it's wonderful. If not, it's the grey lining on a brown cloud.
Jan, can I say if we draw that game, sorry, if we lose that game, everyone is livid because we've turned up, we've not laid a glove on them, we've given them all of the ball, we've not got in their box, we've not had a shot. I don't even think we had a shot. I'll have to look at the stats. But the fact we've drawn, a lot of people are saying that's a Sean Dice masterclass. We went
Wait,
there.
wait. No. Let me just follow your logic for a point, though. Everything you've said is still true. They just didn't score, but they could have done. So how is that a masterclass to turn up and not even look like you had any attempt or opportunity to really, look, if you go and snatch a goal and you go, fuck, and you still go, we didn't deserve that, but thank God we got 3 points, right? But you still assess, you still think, fuck, that's like bottom of the table versus top of the table. And essentially, that's not, if you're saying that's acceptable for us going to the Emirates just because we've struggled in the past, I don't want to accept that.
I think a draw away at Arsenal in any context is great.
A draw away, yes, but let's not confuse impact and intent. An impact or the end product is we got a draw, but from all our intent, we had no intent to even threaten to solidify part of the boss and get that draw. We had no right
No, but
to get
Jan,
that point.
What I think, and before I go into Basil here, you've got some points, and I welcome everyone in the comments. There's amazing comments there. We'll bring them all in due course. It's just the fact that this is what we should have done against Tottenham. And I know the shoulda, coulda, woulda, but I actually think this was the right way to go about it. We should have done this against Spurs. We should have done this against United. And instead, we ended up neither really pressing or threatening, sort of having a go at that, but not really being effective and still ending up losing. Whereas today, it was very clear and stop Arsenal scoring, frustrate them, take your time on the set pieces and the throw ins or whatever opportunity you get, niggly fouls. And what I loved about Everton's defending was, to be fair, I don't think the centre backs, Stokowski and Brantwaite, won most of their duels. I thought they were bullied and a lot of giving the ball away by them. Was the three central midfielders, Decore, Garner, not Garner, bloody hell, they all sound the same. Garner, Gay, and Mangala.
Mm.
I still got to have an honor, a Garner, Manala on the ends. And you know,
Mm.
it's the fact they were,
Don't.
to finish my point, they were able to read the situations where Arsenal love to get crosses in and pull it back. And we had one of those three there every single time for the fullbacks. And we
I
backed
mean, they played dangerous attacking football that's lightning quick. You rely on quick footwork, and it reminds me of when you go, Christ, this young 18, 19-year-old, and you just can't keep up with them, and they got quick feet. Now, like I saying, Everton, we defended fantastically well, and we've seen low stats. But the fact is, it's epitomised in moments where you go, we didn't necessarily get the luck of the draw, the corner that we could have had at the end when the ball goes out, and it's clearly over the line, clearly. And you think the discrepancy of Tarks went in, made a great tackle, and then they get the free kick the other direction, and you don't always get the rub of the green. But Arsenal demonstrated it's the sort of halo effect that they're quick pass, throw in, quick move the ball, right? But the fact is that we didn't show any intent to try to score. And when Brozier did come on, there was some brilliant moments when there was some real excellent individual moments of brilliance. DCL controlled the ball on the far wing and slid it in to, was it Mangala or Idrissa Gana Gueye, who got fouled. Craig Pawson completely ignored it, didn't even wave a play on, and it was fantastic defending. But we didn't even. But that was what we sort of appeared to do. We went to sit back and didn't attempt to play any football. Everything was reactionary rather than proactive. And we had opportunities to do so, and we didn't do it. And that's what's depressing, because it's why we risk throwing away games that we have done.
I think when Basil's ready, he'll give me the thumbs up when he's in a safe space to actually speak, and we'll bring him in for a little bit. Just quickly go to some of these comments here. Sonny said it was shithousery at its best. Thank you for that, Sonny. David B said it was a great point. I agree. Not a bad result from Danny. Danny, we normally lose there, mate. It's a great result. It's not a great performance in terms of how we tried to, impact the game. But the reality is we've tried to play the right way in a lot of games, and we lose.
In talking about impact in the game, TJ Mid makes a good point. And Eugene, clearly, because Pickford was fantastic in that, right?
Hang on, we're going off on a tangent. We lose when we've tried, Jan, to go at the games in a positive way. We've lost and got battered. We make mistakes. Saw it against Spurs, saw it against United, and there's other instances. Today, he's just gone, let's defend and see what we can get on the counter-attack. The disappointing thing for me was, I know we can defend the box. I know we can harry them, and we've got good central midfielders defensively when they're on it, and we're aggressive and we're nasty and we're in your face.
But how many?
It's what we do when we get the ball. It's exactly.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
When we get the ball, we're giving it straight back to them.
There are signs of improvement but we're seeing fewer. We're seeing fewer moments of attacking play, but they seem to be of a slightly better standard. And it's Jai and when DCL sort of came off and Brozier came on, there is a sort of change, and they do need more support. But I think that when we keep saying, no matter who we,
that was the game plan.
More people,
but the game plan wasn't to support them. There was no interest. There was no interest in getting them forward.
But that's what I'm saying. Then what's the point in even having anyone up front if you're going to play a game plan where they're just a body that mills around and does nothing?
Let's get Basil in and come back to the comments. I agree. I think
safe?
we can summarize this by saying we got a great point away at Arsenal, who were a great team. They didn't play well. They dominated us. We allowed them to kind of dominate us because we were comfortable defensively. We covered everything, but we offered nothing on the ball, and that's got to improve. Basil, you were at the Emirates. Thanks for joining. What did you think of the game today, and what was the atmosphere like?
I mean, you you guys are hitting the nail on the head pretty much with what we saw in the stadium, really, especially what Jan said at the start of the stream. But the atmosphere is just a bit like obviously we sang and everything, but people are just like frustrated. They're frustrated of watching a team with no game plan,
Hmm.
and you know going all that way and not really having a shot on target. I don't know if we had one, but it's annoying. We neither
No, we didn't
attack
have a
them
shot on
or
target.
or we didn't attack them, but we didn't defend. Like we didn't sit back and try and just play for a point. So I don't know what we did, but I'm just cutting through the middle of a bus stop with a lot of people. Yeah, so I mean, the ref today. Did you notice the ref was particularly
Yeah.
poor? Because a lot of the Everton fans, every decision went against us. It was a whole big club gets all the big decisions. That's what everyone was saying. The ref gave there was a corner that it was like a 2 yards out of the pitch, and he gave us a goal kick. The people just couldn't believe it. The bias, when you're playing against that on top and checking for a penalty, which wasn't a penalty. You can see it
It's a
from the
fact,
other
yeah,
end.
and the way that they commentate it, and they talk about well, there's not enough there to justify not a clear and obvious error, and I'm like, you're fucking right because it was a tackle, like
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Just for the
nothing wrong with
benefit
it. I
of
just,
just for the benefit of the tape, we've just got off a plane from it's the world's fastest plane from the Emirates into Liverpool. 'Cause I just realised. Um, Moving on, sidetrack. David,
what's that?
just to throw back at you, David. Um, could you not argue that Everton's game plan was they did have a game plan and it was to frustrate Arsenal, stop them getting clear cut opportunities, and then trying to impose themselves on the. I share your frustration.
Yeah,
I was so angry when we would just get the ball back to Pickford after a little bit of neat play to retain possession and then just launch it straight back to their keeper. I
I'm not.
get it. We were rubbish on the ball. We offered zilch. But could you say the game
Yeah,
plan was to defend and we defended well and we got a point?
the game plan was to get a result, and we got a result. And I'm not frustrated now.
Detail.
I'm just a little bit worried for various reasons because we're playing teams that are in and amongst the top teams at the moment, and we're not. We don't seem to be playing them with any sort of game plan. We're just walking into them, and I don't think you know. Yeah, we got a point today, but I've seen Everton performances where they've gone away or even at home, and they've just done the tactical masterclass in effect of how to stop them, how to be aggressive, how to get tight, what's the shape, what are the distances. Today, it just looked like they went out on the pitch. They're a decent defensive unit anyway, and they just managed to frustrate them. I mean, Pickford must have saved half a dozen times when Arsenal could have scored. Um,
oh, some
but
fantastic
Arsenal weren't
reactions, yeah,
clinical.
and awareness.
Yes, great saves. But Arsenal, they've got top sides. They're streetwise. They're very aggressive. The centre backs don't give you anything, and anytime the little nudges, we don't win any fouls. So the ball just kept going back to them and recycling. And second half,
Mm.
obviously, we got deeper and deeper and deeper until we're mostly in our own penalty box. And there's not a lot you can do going forward. How do you create chances from
Yeah.
corners? That's probably it.
The
But
problem is
without
if you
McNeil today as
no
well.
McNeil's rubbish. Can I
But
just say
can I ask you, what was the, sorry, Basil, what was the reaction at the Emirates from the Everton fans towards the end when we had an opportunity to sort of really capitalise on the match, the dying few minutes, or sorry, the first half as well, and towards the end of the second half, and it felt like the Everton players were just going, "Oh, okay, it's 0-0," rather than "Christ, it's the last 30 seconds, we could steal a goal." Did it feel like that?
Uh, yeah, it did. But there was like one breakaway near the end, and the fans are like, "You're thinking, can we just nick it? Can we, and a corner kick." There was a corner kick we had, and some Tarkowski at the back post. He's trying to win the header. That sort of moment, you are thinking, let's get this goal, let's snatch it.
mm,
How often do you have a
mm.
chance to snatch it? It's usually Arsenal who score right at the death in these
Yeah,
games,
because
particularly at
when it
home.
got to about 82 minutes, they really ramped up the intensity, going, "Come on, we need to get this now. We haven't got the goal, we haven't got the points yet. We're going to step it up." As in that sort of mentality reflected in the nature of the play on the pitch is you don't see that from Everton.
Mm.
That intent.
Yeah, but the thing is, why can't we match Arsenal's physicality? I just, the aggressive mate. We had 10 days off, and we didn't look like we come into that aggressive and prepared for a fight. Um, we got the point, as we said, and that is the main thing at the end of the day. No one was expecting it really, and we got it. And Everton fans, they walked out singing songs, people singing
I'm
songs.
gonna just say now. I'm just going to interrupt you because we haven't got a lot of time. And what I want to say is, because you two are taking a negative slant. I watched the same game as you, and I
I'm
thought we
not
were poor
taking
on
it.
the ball. They're very negative, very negative. And I'm going to try and keep the stream balanced. Negative. If we'd have won, if we'd have drawn that game 1-1, and Arsenal had been leading for 70 minutes, and we'd have snatched a point, neither of you would be coming on here moaning.
And I wouldn't have been complaining and moaning if that would have been reflected by the fact that you need to have a few shots on target to get a goal.
I agree, but Jan, Arsenal, as David said there, defensively 1v1. You're playing into the hands. If we're playing long, aimless balls into centre halves who've got the run on you already before
I'm
you
not
leave.
being all doom and gloom. We clearly know all the obvious facts. We defended really well, goalless away
Give some
at
credit.
Arsenal at the Emirates. Fantastic, right? But the flip side is there's not very much positive besides that, because by all rights we shouldn't have. You'd think like that was fantastic. But what does that mean for the future and going
I
forward?
think you've got
what
to give
signs do we see from that?
I think
Is it a start? Is it a stepping point to move forward?
Yes, the last two results are great results, but let's think
True.
about this now. We're criticising Everton here for not having a shot on target, and I agree. A lot of the giving the ball back to Arsenal was just unenforced error, stupid pass, not on the same wavelength, and booting it back to them. It's brainless, tactically inept. The other side of it, the intelligence to win the fouls, to time waste, to be smart, the game management was perfect. We want to see more at the top end of the pitch.
It
but
was.
The problem is, Jan, we're playing those. Hang on, let me finish this last little element of this point. We're playing a long ball. Most of the time we're doing it when our player hasn't got a chance. Gabriel and, as David has said, Gabriel and Saliba are the two of the best centre backs in the league. They're the two best centre backs in the league.
They're quick as well.
They've got everything. They read it. They're strong, fast. The only way we're going to cause them any problems is if we get numbers and support and we outnumber them, and maybe we drag them into uncomfortable positions. They're comfortable defending the way we made it. We're comfortable for them.
I'm just going to star that because Ryan loves it when people agree with him. There we go. No, look. Do keep keeping the comments in. Like, I'm trying to think, clearly I was going to go from the negative side. You were doing the positive side. Basil was there. Like, I'm not like, it is a bit of a show, guys.
I thought it was shit, but I'm happy with the point. I thought the game was boring. It was terrible.
But we've got to get there and discuss all the things. And for me, like, yes, it's a great basis. But then I'm thinking, if we can defend like that, at Arsenal, excellent. But were there any signs that we're going to go and do the same thing, at home and Chelsea, or games where we're facing tough opposition, where we need to go, have that resolve, that resilience, that urgency, the mentality to go out and go, this is our game, this is our chance.
We haven't got that yet, and I don't think we've got the players to play possession football. Basil, can you just tell us before you go, what was the atmosphere like at full time? What was the reaction? Were they happy with the point?
Yeah, everyone was extremely happy. People were coming up to the end of the game saying he's going to add on 6-7 minutes, and then he added the 4 minutes, and then
we'll come to these, Jan.
We thought okay, and then he got to 4 minutes, and everyone's doing the whistles, and it went for an extra minute, and everyone's really annoyed.
There was a VAR check.
Obviously, they blew up,
and the delays,
and the the players came over. They gave shirts out. Pickford gave his gloves off. And he did a big fist thing in the air as he walked off. And it riled the crowd, and everyone was singing songs as they came out, and I could hear them walking down towards the station. Well away from the ground, you can hear people chanting Everton songs. So people are happy.
Fabulous, Basil, just before last thing, considering where we were at the start of the season, losing games in acrimonious fashion, winning 2-0, losing 3-2, getting battered, the kind of calamity football, doing everything wrong. Look at how now Dyche has basically said to the group, defend first and attack second. Do you think
if you don't concede a goal, you can't lose a match?
How do we get the goals? How do we score at the other end now we've done the defending side and improved on that? How do we do it? Is it personnel or tactics?
I think Calvert-Lewin struggled today to get that ball down, and that's because of the Arsenal centre backs largely. But he doesn't get anyone in and around him. The ball was going up like these long balls. They're nowhere near him. They're in
Mm.
angles. 1 minute they're down the middle. There's nobody there. Decore is playing an extra CDM role, in effect, not close to Calvert-Lewin today. And he was basically isolated. You're not going to get up the pitch if you've got one isolated man. And Jack
And Jack
Harrison,
Harrison.
who was getting pelters from the crowd the whole match, people just wanted him off the pitch after 5 minutes.
It's so
So
annoying, yeah.
I think Brozier is probably key to it, quite possibly key
Yeah.
to it once he gets
turns
up
you,
to pitch.
makes you run the other
He's a
way.
strong
Basil,
guy.
thank you
I
so
just
much,
wanted
Basil.
to say, though, just to cover
Go on.
this all, as we're all saying, Upon Faye has said Arsenal are a very, very good team, and they are. Where they are in the league, the players, the quality of players they got.
See you later, Basil.
Is an exceptional result, but I'm trying to. But what I'm trying to say is, from an Everton perspective, it's fantastic to walk away with a point from the Emirates, especially with the way that we've been performing lately and this season, the last few years, etc. The tactics that we employ. But what I'm saying is, to me, that's not a good enough representation of what a football performance is meant to be. Coherently, like, yes, we defended well enough that precluded a goal and a loss, but we did nothing to suggest that we could have won that game, and that's really frustrating for me.
I think there were opportunities late at the game on the counter-attack where we ended up, rather than making good decisions and getting numbers in support, we ended up kind of just getting snuffed out and ended up
It
back with
felt
our...
like the players were a bit exhausted, and that's what I mean, where I feel like the tactics betray them. Sometimes it feels like I don't know any history scholar or war scholars here, but it's lions led by lambs or donkeys or whatever metaphor you want to say, and it's just so frustrating. Like when the players come over and give the shirts and the gloves, I hope like they get full support and recognition, like because sometimes it can be an emotional thing when like I get a bit pissed off about that, but the way that the team played. But for crying out loud, they did work hard to defend. It was like that point that Upon Faye said. It was defensively great, but is that
Jan,
enough?
if we'd have gone out in that match, Jan, and attacked Arsenal and pressed
I'm
them
not saying to attack them.
and battered
I'm saying it's.
and got lost, you'd be more annoyed.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there were so many times where it was just like, we had moments to attack, and it was like the team just went. They might have been 2 or 3 players that did join up to do it, but it's like the team had in them the mentality. No, we're told not to do this. We can't.
They were told not to do it.
Well, that's what I'm
Exactly.
saying. But when there's a time, I'm not saying you have to go out and
Mate,
consistently attack.
I'm gonna say, and this is we've got to have a bit of passion here. We've got to have a bit of an argument because if you go and hold up and support Calvert-Lewin and he loses the duels, which he's gonna lose the duels a lot of the time against them, and they turn you over.
Yes,
your
but he tries to
midfielders are out
go
of
for the
position.
second ball, and if there's no player trying to create that space for him to go into or chase up the second ball and do a give and go or anything, then it's entirely pointless anyway. That's what I said before by just having the one isolated man. So what's the...
I know,
sorry,
it's so
just
frustrating. It's hard to...
I know.
Because your midfield, you want your midfielders to get close to Calvert-Lewin. If Calvert-Lewin can't hold it up, or the midfielders get caught out, they turn us over, counter-attack us. They just play in behind and around us. And I've seen it so many times. Yeah, let's have a look at the... But I also want that because the idea is if you get numbers around, you can win the second ball, the third ball.
Yes, and then if you've got players drawn into your attacking responsiveness, then they're not focused on attacking into your space. It's just this whole feedback loop.
I know, mate. Right, we're going to move on to comments because I haven't got acres of time tonight.
Yeah.
I've got a little baby and I've actually got
a life now.
Not a life. I'd say anything but a life. This is the first Saturday I've not been working all year as well.
No, it was a joke on the fact that you have a life, which is a child.
I know. I should know. Oh, very funny. Fuck off. Right, let's have a look now at the comments. Let's have a look at some of these comments. Thank you so much for everyone joining. If you're new here, welcome.
I wish I could, Sean. I wish I could in general. It's just certain things get me.
He's angry. He does. He wants better. We deserve better. It's a point though. We've got to just. You shouldn't have watched the game. You should have just looked at the score and you'd have been happy. Make sure you like and subscribe. Like the video if you're watching now, whether that's on Facebook or YouTube. Smash the like button. And of course, if you're new here, please subscribe. It's free. And we're trying to get 3,000 subscribers for about 6 months. So If you're watching it and you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. If you know any other Blues who use YouTube, hit the subscribe button. And of course, if you want to support this channel, which is costing me quite a lot of money to run per month for the streaming, you can become a VIP member. Click the join button. Right, Jan. Fucking hell. You're on an ADHD attack here. Right, let's go down here. Let's be calm. Tazul saying, first time in a long time I didn't watch the game, expected a thrashing. Tazul missed the 0-0. Jan, can you believe it?
Yes.
Can you understand why you wouldn't want to watch it?
Yes, because we've had this discussion, haven't you? There might be people out here who go, you know what, I'll choose that extra shift at work because I could do with the overtime. Christmas is coming up. But and have you seen all the I just want to say, I'm not accusing anyone back and forth, but the bullshit, unnecessary arguments. We're all Evertonians, and the fact that some people have been getting flack for giving their tickets away to friends or not going the game because of the despair. And not only that, you're talking, look at the wider context. Football isn't the be-all and end-all. It's Christmas. Times are fucking hard. The cost of everything's gone up. We had a storm.
Are we saying you didn't watch it?
Yeah, I know, right? So so what? Like,
it's free to watch if you know where you're watching it.
I'm not going to force the guy to watch it just so he can sit here and listen to us complain. He might want to know, did I do right in watching it? He might just come here to hear people tell me off for my odious views about our football.
Ian, let's move on. We've got a comment from Mark Foster. He said, we did what we had to do. It was an excellent point. If only we could score. The Bournemouth Saints, Brentford's games have been examples of why Dyche has got to go. We'll know more.
That's
the Friedkin group have taken over. Well, they're taking over in due course. They've had approval. So we'll see whether Sean Dyche, I think they're going to stand behind him. I think they're seeing signs now with a point at Arsenal and a 4-0 win at home. It's a reason to kind of persist with him. But the style of football, as you know, has just been unbearable. Blue Stew, 1878. Welcome back. He says, if we could pass to our own players rather opposition, me and Jan have been exasperated by 23% possession today. I'd love to see the successful pass completion rate.
No, but the thing is,
71%.
No.
How did we have 71%?
Sorry, let me just say that
couldn't pass wind.
I have an issue with how possession is done now. It used to be a lot more technical, and they'd measure like dribbles and success and all these time on possession. Now the way it's done is purely you look at the number of passes, and then the possession, and the percentage possession stats. The possession stats is purely a percentage representation of the breakdown of passes, and that was it. And it's so frustrating that Arsenal will have a lot of runs on they have moments of fast passing back and forth, but they'll run and move around and hold the ball, and when we pass it, we'll just be rather static. So I don't think it's fair to say that that's possession, really. You just pass around the back, defend, you know what I mean? It's not the same sort of stats. It bothers me.
Jack is saying an effing good performance and result. Thank you very Jack. He's not happy with the moaning, and I don't know what you're saying.
Oh no, I don't know where that's from. I was on about something. I was on about previous games, weren't you? With poor opposition.
Previous poor opposition. Thank you, Jack. Yeah. Make sure you subscribed if you're not. Adam, one of our contributors. A couple of shaky moments. Jan, what was going on with Branthwaite giving the ball away and playing us into trouble, and Tarkowski as well. It's like Arsenal's only way of scoring was really going to come from Everton kind of making mistakes.
It's a panic response. Like maybe that's how I judge it. You tell me if you think it's different. But remember when you were younger? Maybe you were one of these kids. I wasn't. But when you were younger, and there'd always be someone who'd be quicker, who'd just put his trainers on, run round you, and decide to just take the piss and dribble. And it's just because they could run fast and they got quick feet. They might not technically be great footballers, right? Now, I'm not saying that the Arsenal aren't great footballers. They clearly are. But the fact is, we have some good defenders, and we've demonstrated that. Now, they get sort of flustered, and it's almost like they're there going, oh, God, we need to get through this. That's what it looks like you're watching, and you're going,
it's a serious mentality problem, isn't it, Jan?
I don't know. I don't want to project.
Can I say something, Jan, and ask you a question?
No.
Technically, we're nowhere near. And I think part of that is I don't know what we're doing on the training pitch, and I don't know. We've got good technical players. Ndai, Lindstrom, Brozier, Gay played at PSG. None of them, not our fullbacks. Branthwaite, you could say. Pickford. We've got some good technical players, but
we should ask James Graham and his missus to come on here.
I can understand about. Thanks, James. I could understand why Everton would be technically outclassed by Arsenal, but to get physically outclassed at times was frustrating. And I said
thought
to you about winning
did
the
very
duels,
well, though. I think
but
Mikalenko
he stunk it out for 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
No, but I think when you say that though, I have to be fair. I think Mikolenko did very well considering the tactics were set up to basically let him get hammered, him and Young, and they both did very well. To
I
be
think they had
fair,
loads of protection.
well, yes, because they needed it, because they were crowded by 3 or 4 other players, as we were at times. But the trouble is, we didn't capitalise. When we had Ndai doing wonderful things or particular movements where we held the ball, right, and then we crowd around with 3 or 4 Arsenal players, and it was fantastic. He'd draw them. It was moments of brilliance. That this is what I'm talking about. And you go, okay, the pivotal ball comes in, and we don't have somebody running up for the wing or the opposite thing to switch it or anything like that, and it just go back to the centre backs, and I'm like, why? Why?
What would annoy me is if we were so careful in possession to the point where we'd like retain the ball, nothing would come of it, and it go back to the keeper, and then we just launch it straight back to Arsenal. You're like, why have you gone through all of that just to boot it back to them?
I know.
Some of it is just like embarrassing. John Morris, good point. James, solid defense. He's loving that. Just so many comments today.
I think maybe Peter's summed it up well enough for us to move on from this kind of point. We've got good defenders and arguably the second best goalkeeper in the league defensively. We're well conditioned to protect ourselves, but there's clearly no coaching on how to attack. There's no balance. Yeah. So speaking of balance,
fullbacks have got to improve. You've got to get a left back who can link up with Ndai and try and create crossing opportunities. And I don't like the inverted wingers. It doesn't work. It doesn't create anything. We don't make good decisions in the final third. We don't create anything. The fullbacks don't get beyond to cross the ball.
Confusion. It's unnecessarily complex. Keep it simple, stupid.
You can look at this and you think, well, if we're going to play down the right-hand side, because that's where we've got a right footer in Lindstrom, can we get Patterson up there with him or Young to link up to get crossing opportunities and then get Ndai coming in the box and drifting in and linking up play and have the core running into the... I don't know, mate. I think fundamentally we're dysfunctionally not going to work with the inverted wingers. It doesn't work. Harrison cannot play on the right. I don't know where he can play, but seems to get snuffed out, lose all his duels, can't cross, can't shoot.
If you don't have the support to create the spaces, if you don't have the you don't have the support and the tactics set up to create the spaces to exploit what that kind of setup wants you to do, to go inside, to draw players away, to shimmy, to create chaos and confusion. If it's just there to go like, we'll see how that works, it ain't gonna work.
Jack Harrison is very left-footed. And pisses me off when you look at someone like Mo Salah and he's like just all left foot, but he's so elite at it. And you look at our right winger and he wants to cut inside his left foot. He just doesn't know what he's doing.
In terms of balance, I did say that wouldn't that be a good way to seg onto like.
Thank you, VIP member Amanda Stevens, who's also
Amanda, like.
Go on.
Yeah. So with that in mind, like people have asked about it. So considering maybe the imbalance that Peter's talked about, I'd be interested to know how you would.
Thank you, Amanda.
How you'd rate the players? Because for me, Pickford, 8, 9.
No, he was the best player on the pitch.
Yeah,
everything. He was a 9. He was a clear 9.
Okay,
he was brilliant, mate. He was a man of the match.
Yes, no, but what I'm saying is, how do you moderate that? Considering that when the ball went back and he hoofed it, because that's part of the tactics, but then do you blame him for that? But then it clears it and gives us a reprieve, but then it's just the rinse and repeat the process. I don't know how to correctly factor that in. Do you know what I mean?
He did boot the ball back to them, but then I'd say the whole team were guilty of doing that. So
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So then how can you score it a 9, even though he justifies a 9 for his saving and the reactions and chopping down and
giving him a solid 9 because he came out and punched the ball when he needed. He commanded his box. He claimed the box. He stopped shots to his post. He stopped everything. He was brilliant. I don't know why why are we talking about Pickford? We've gone from. I'm sure we were talking about Harrison.
We were talking about player ratings because we were banging. I think it's fair to not necessarily bang about players, and I thought it was fair to go from the defence to the attack, and then maybe we could talk about. I don't know.
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
we do have another option to buy. Sean wants you to chill out. That's gonna have the opposite effect on Jan.
I've already gone through that. It's all right.
Yeah, sorry, mate. Let's have a look at today's other results first and foremost.
No. We're going to go through and sort of do player ratings, please. That's what we were doing.
No, we're going to look at these results.
Oh, all right then. Okay.
Sorry, I've fallen this. I'm very, very sleep deprived.
Well, I'll
Um,
tell you what, my player ratings were Tarkovsky and Branthwaite were great. I'd say Tarkovsky did a little bit better. He had some great tackles and he shepherded and controlled the sort of play and he directed it and captained it to an extent. Ashley Young was really good. And I would said Mikalenko for me was a 7, surprisingly. And Branthwaite, because, well, I don't know. I'd say maybe.
Unless he's running down blind alleys and panics that he's crossed the halfway line, Ashley Young. There was one moment where he had the ball down the right and he ventured forward and you're thinking, support him. What are you doing? You're leaving this guy. You need to go and give him an option.
Idrissa Gana Gay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Decore, surprisingly well from the defensive and direct side. Like,
Defensively,
this is so frustrating. This is why it's so frustrating.
Just to come in on those players you just mentioned, I thought Branthwaite and Tarkovsky, I'm going to be more negative here. They lost.
Really?
Tarkovsky was better than Branthwaite, a lot better.
They're getting balls and players running at them, and then when players do that chaotic thing of they get the ball and you don't know where they're going to knock it off 2 feet in which direction. So what do? You don't want to expose the goal, so you stand off, and then what? You've given them some space.
Can we
when
say
they've got two other players running?
The shape was really good. The spaces were narrow. We did the right things.
No, this is where I disagree with you.
No, the shape was great defensively.
Oh, okay.
The shape was fantastic. The coaching, the drilling of the defensive shape, the spaces and all that was great. But obviously when we got the ball, we couldn't offer anything with it. And I don't know what the plan was. It was more individuals. I think Mikalenko struggled for the first half and then grew into the game. I remember plenty of opportunities where they were going past him with ease. There was one where Saka, he knows he's going to cut in on his left foot. He just cuts in and walks past him, and he's on his arse. Then Branthwaite gets done, and they nearly scored. There was loads. So I think people thinking there was a lot of luck involved here. Pickford saved our skins multiple times. Branthwaite gave the ball away multiple times. Tarkovsky was making loads of mistakes. They weren't defending the box. Havertz was having loads of
Sorry,
joy.
this is positive Ryan, is it?
No, I'm giving you another spin on it now because.
I know, this is why it's so complex and layered. I get it.
Branthwaite was giving the ball away. He was getting beaten by Havertz. Tarkovsky was all over the place at times. Young, was very, very solid, actually. He was probably the best of the back four. But, I don't know. Yeah. But it's really difficult because although we defended, it almost felt like Pickford was saving us.
I know, that's why it's so complex.
But then everyone on the commentary was like, Everton were defending so well because the spaces and the shape was magnificent. Let's move on to that midfield then. Gana Gay is the only one with a bit of technical quality in that midfield to kind of hold the ball in that central area.
Hang on, Mangala's got
no, what booting out of play for no reason, and
because if he's in the middle and overwhelmed and no one's there giving him option,
there's
he
5
got
midfielders
fouled at one point. You know what? Okay, doesn't matter. You know
no,
what?
no, we've got to have some sort of we've got to have an argument. We've got to have
no.
You think of that about Mangala. I think Garner was the best of the three in there because he was able to hold on to the ball when we got it, and he had a little bit of two-footedness about him. Whereas with Decore, I think he was there to keep the shape, to keep the press, whatever the plan was, to harry Arsenal, to stop them.
You make it sound like he was just there to be on the team sheet, Ryan.
He was there to defend, but he wasn't.
But he's not great at a deeper role like that.
No, I don't think he is.
Yeah.
He attacks like a donkey as well. He's got Wellington boots and they're in quicksand. He's just like...
That's just the way that he runs, dude. You can't criticise someone for the mechanics of their game.
It's like he's tripping up over the ball constantly and he can't get it out of his feet. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like it's too close to his foot or something. Go on, Ndai. Quiet, wasn't he? He's just working hard.
And Dye had moments of brilliance, but then the team didn't respond to him. It was almost like they were watching, that kid. Oh, go on, kid, go on, score a goal, and they're like, oh, we'll wait for you. Yeah, he's lost the ball. Come on, we've got to defend now, lads. Like, or was that just me?
Where was Dwight McNeil?
Dwight McNeil, knee injury. He's consistent. He's taking a rest.
Good.
It was it was interesting though to see that.
Why did Harrison Armstrong get a yellow card? Did he come on in the 89th minute?
What?
I didn't see that.
What? You mean what?
Sky Sports are saying that Mangala went off, but Harrison Armstrong in the 89th minute. Oh no, I'm looking at the Wolves game. I was looking at the Wolves game. That was only that second. I was just looking to see where McNeil was, and he was on the bench.
Are you okay?
We played a 4-3-3. No, I'm tired. Jack is saying I was spot on tonight anyway, even though I don't feel at my best.
Okay.
So give me the rest of
Meanwhile,
the scores. Give me the rest of the scores.
meanwhile, on planet Earth, right? No, no. Can we just keep focusing on this game then? Because the defense was the defense was great. Pickford saved our asses. The midfield defensively was great, but wasn't set up to do anything attacking. Idrissa Gana Gueye, I thought Mangala worked very well, and it's clearly, if that's the game plan to kick out, I'm not going to criticise him for doing, like you say, what the rest of the team were doing.
They were
Yes.
boss defensively in that midfield.
Right?
They really
and Jai
were.
did a fantastic job of playing forward. DCL did what was kind of expected of him because he did a few breaks, but you can't expect him to take the ball from defence and run up and do everything, right? But
It's
there
on
was
the
just
manager,
no
Jan. It's the
support for him.
status quo. What's the fucking point
when-
of playing
but when
Calvert-Lewin
Broja-
up front to
but
hold
when-
the ball and do nothing with it?
Right, we were never going to see two up front, but when Broja came on, I think it was a marked change. Who else came on with him? Who were the subs?
Lindstrom,
Oh yeah, thank you,
full of
TJ.
effort.
Yeah, and Broja and who was the other sub?
Lindstrom.
Oh yeah, Lindstrom. Lindstrom again seems a little bit lightweight, but he's in there and he's got determination and he's the kind of player that he's a bit Morales. He reminds me of Kevin Morales a little bit.
With zero
Because there was the
product.
frustration. Sorry, yeah, there. That's the. I wasn't necessarily saying that.
He's
but
like
it's the- if that's
Roadrunner.
the inf-
No,
if that's the
you know what I like
inference.
about Lindstrom, and I think he will come good. He's really tenacious, and I think his attitude is really good. And I think
Yes, but that's what I was saying that you kind
he
of
has
lack
the speed
sometimes.
that Harrison lacks. If Harrison had the speed to make up for the thing with Jack Harrison is he's slow. He's technically crap. Defensively, he harries you and he's rubbish.
Can you just lay off the lad a little bit? Like we all know this. You've said it before. Just lay off. Like we
I pay
we've got
£800 a year to watch these. I'm allowed an opinion. Who agrees with me on? No, let's not fixate on Jack Harrison. I don't understand this guy. Is he a left winger?
Do I need to get like a Jack Harrison hate corner set up for you in the loft there?
No. Finish your things. I'm going to get Jack Harrison stats up. We're going to have a look at them.
No, you literally just said you're going to stop fixating
14
on the guy.
appearances this season. 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 yellow cards. Crap. It's just pointless. You might as well play an actual right back there. If he's in the team to defend, get a right back in there like Patterson and
I'm only playing, I know. Right. So, yeah. I mean, I think Arsenal played very well, as they often do, but I was surprised that they didn't have... We made them play a bit scrappier. They didn't have the elegance and beauty to have those moments where it's one pass, two pass, carve us apart. And that, for me, was a fantastic part of that. Don't you find that we played really well from that sort of side? The defensiveness. Arsenal, we didn't allow them to play the usual way that they could sort of run up the pitch and go free running and smash a goal in.
by restricting the spaces for Arsenal to run into. That was the biggest. I was thinking about something completely else.
Look, it's going to kick off if it turns into the Harrison hate show. Stop it.
No, you can talk about anything you want.
Yeah, of course. No, Peter can. You can talk about whatever you want in the comments, guys. But yeah. So, I mean, like I think Amanda mentioned here before. Do you think we did the right subs, Ryan?
The Calvert-Lewin one, because I think Calvert-Lewin in that team, I said to Corey before, it's the status quo. It's the status quo lineup. You know what he's going to do. He's going to have a little bit of a tug and a little bit of a battle, but ultimately he's not got the pace to get past you. He's not got the strength to outmuscle you. He's not got the technical quality to do anything. Doesn't score enough goals. In fact, he doesn't score goals. That's the bottom line. We're not scoring goals. Broja's got to play in games like this because he gives you the ability to carry the ball up the pitch. He's strong, he's quick, and he can finish. He carries the ball. I think you need your ball carriers to get up in a match like this if we're not going to be able to sustain possession and we're just booting it. So I think Broja for Calvert-Lewin possibly is the right sub. I'd like to see if they can play together. I think could that free up Calvert-Lewin?
But then we're going to have to rely on a different different style of midfield, because how are we going to do that? We're not going to go three backs and wing backs. I bloody hope. So Blue Stew here said when Timur Abonam's back, we'll have a lot more to offer the opposition. I think yes, that might be in place of maybe Decore, or having a sort of.
We miss him because technically on the ball he can hold the ball. He's got 2 foot. I think he could play. Could he play as the Decore role?
As a linchpin, more.
The third midfielder, maybe, with the one with the license to go forward and carry the ball. And, the problem was he was playing really well in the first few games of the season, but the game defensively, sometimes he was switching off 70, 80 minutes. He hadn't got that fitness.
See, this is what I say, right? If Harrison is designed to is a kind of guy that wants to play on the left and beat players that way, if you're naturally
Harrison again.
Look, because I want to point out
that we moved on from Harrison.
No, because to add some context to what you're saying, yeah, of course, you could criticise bloody Idrissa Gana Gueye if you played him in goal. That's...
Okay. That's an interesting point there, sir.
But yeah, so when Timur Abuna was back,
yeah, he could have come on in that game and given you more energy. Helped the counter-attack, helped us hold the ball. Say James Garner is another one, Jan. He gives you that speed in the press, doesn't he, in that midfield?
But he's got a very cultured style to his play. I don't know if you understand what I mean. It was something that I saw potentially in Andre Gomez's style of play. It was something that Mikel Arteta himself had. It's a composure. It's the
inability to score.
No.
We were specialists in giving the ball back today. We got a point at Arsenal. We defended resolutely, but at the same time, it's an oxymoron because we feel like Branthwaite, Mikalenko, Tarkovsky at times made a lot of errors and Pickford saved us. We couldn't get out our box. We threatened nothing. Jan's furious because we want more offensively, but then also understands that if we'd have tried and done that, we probably would have lost 3-0. So that's all I got to say. It's 6 o'clock. Okay. Jan, have you got any final things you want to discuss? You can stay on, but...
Yeah, no. I'll go rather quickly, but I just noticed Amanda's obviously joined us a little bit late for anyone else joining us. We did cover a lot of things rather quickly in a flurry of things. That was not in any universe a penalty, a VAR review or anything. It wasn't because what?
Gone through the back of him to pull him down and then got the ball.
No. He didn't get him at all. It was just how they were running. Mikalenko went in and hooked his leg and got it with a multiple touch. He was going in to shepherd it and sweep it round. You see that once or twice a game, a lot of the time. It's perfectly fine.
He's gone through the back of him. And then
Mikalenko didn't do that.
Mikalenko went through him and took the ball after with his other foot. I'm telling you now. Can I just say, let me finish my point.
Replay.
I've watched it. If it goes as a penalty, it doesn't get overturned.
Are we on about? Look, hang on.
I'm about the late one where he goes to VAR check.
90 minutes VAR. Here we go. Oh no, good tackle. Not enough for a clear and obvious error because there is no error. It's a tackle, not a foul. Was it Decore or someone coming in from behind on the Arsenal player, sort of, and it's like he's running past him. Mikalenko is not necessarily goal side, but defensive side of him, and he basically just sort of goes in, sweeps his leg round on the ground, makes top contact with the ball, and then shepherds it round with the same leg that's up there, not his trailing leg. You watched it and they replayed it multiple times. It's a tackle. Sorry, mate, it's a tackle.
We've done well to talk for 50 minutes about a 0-0 draw. I now have to go, so I'm going to wrap things up here. Thank you for watching Follow Everton. Jan, thank you for joining me. It's a rare occasion for me on a Saturday night to be able to do a stream, and I'll see you again very soon.
Not TJ Mid, TJ Top with that comment, man. TJ Top. That was awful. On that note, like and subscribe.
0-0 again.
How would you end this?
I end it.
Oh.